Well, welcome back to the shed. Sorry about the hum in the background, it's my little fan heater. It's very easy to heat this place now because it's so well insulated. That's one good bit of news. Now, I've got another Philips here today. This one's from the 80s. And it's 8458, I think, the model number. Ghetto blaster thing, boombox. And they're beautifully made and they have a nice sound and everything, but after many years of complaints about bad belts and rubber components that went to goo and treacle and what have you, and made a mess inside the machine, and this affected virtually all of Philips audio equipment. Not so prevalent in record players, but it could happen in record players nevertheless. And one dreads to think what would have happened inside one of those funny old video machines they used to make, the N1500, 1700, something like that, where there were an awful lot of belts. So Philips decided that they were going to redesign the tape transports completely when they made this series from the 80s, and they went for a gear drive. And yes, alright, it can be a bit noisier, but it should, in theory, be better than belts that go. And indeed, if the belts do go on these, they snap, they don't turn to goo. So in that respect, they are better. But what Philips did was to use, on this model and many others, idler gears here to change direction of travel and for the mechanical arrangements within. And the trouble is that the plastic they use, well, the best way I could describe it is it goes to a consistency like stale Red Leicester cheese. And it's even the right colour for stale Red Leicester cheese. It just goes soft. The plastic is far too soft, and because it's running on nylon gears here and there in the setup, the gear teeth strip, and then in the case of this one you lose the rewind and fast forward function. It was missing about 4 gear teeth. Now, whether this was part of planned obsolescence or just a cock-up by Philips, I couldn't really say. I think it may have been just a cock-up like the belts were. But one thing is for sure, these things soon started going back into the dealers for repairs, even under warranty because of that. And it's almost as if they wanted to commit Harry-Carry, isn't it, the Philips concern? They were determined to go down the pan, whatever. And it was such a shame because, of course, it finished in the worst possible way for everybody this end in Europe, because everything was shipped out to the Far East. And today, if you buy a Philips, well, the chances are it will have been made somewhere like Malaysia or Singapore or even China. And come to that, they don't even make equipment like this at all now, even the modern equivalents. It's just a sort of brand name. Oh well, so it finished up the worst way it could. What I've had to do here, therefore, was to find some nylon gears that were the same diameter and had the same tooth pitch as these. And I was lucky enough to find in my box of spares exactly that. Now these gears sort of pop on, and to that end, on the little shafts that they spin on, the little stubs, there's a little tiny groove machined into that. It's almost as if Philips were going to do what I've done in the first place, but for whatever reason the bean counters got hold of it, who could say. They didn't. But it is a little bit noisier than it was, and if this gear ever goes, then we're stumped, because that is a helical gear designed for quiet running in order to turn the take-up spool during playback or record. But at least we do have a working rewind and fast forward. I shan't switch this one on, because the head plate, I haven't put it back, but on the second deck you can see there it's all sort of tucked away, and we've come back to life nicely. Now, these are fully servo assisted, these things. There's only one motor, and as you can see almost the whole thing is made of plastic. Another thing to watch out for are the raise heads on these 80s units, and it doesn't matter which one it is really, they tend to drop to pieces. The varnish that holds the pole pieces inside just falls out, but thankfully they can be replaced easily enough with another one. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, yes. Words fail you, don't they? Yes. Yes. The other day we had David Cameron down here. My God. Do you know, I thought there was a vile smell all day, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, on that silly note, I will away.